Sharks. I'm Robbie.
And I'm Allison, and we're neighbors from Columbus, Ohio, here seeking $300,000 for 5% of our company.
When you think back to the past year, what is the one thing in the world that people craved?
More space.
So that's exactly what we did. We've created more space for everyone.
So let us introduce you to OOT Box, an outdoor plug-and-play experience.
It could be a backyard office.
Or, as this model shows, it can be a pop-up shop.
It could even be an outdoor conference room.
It's a convenient space that's temperature-controlled, soundproof, flexible, and can be set outside in any environment.
At 80 square feet, an OOT Box is a beautiful, bright, eco-friendly space made from an upcycled shipping container. It can be delivered anywhere and used for anything.
We make it so simple for our customers. An OOT Box rolls off the back of a truck, plugs into any outlet, and it is ready to go.
Demand has been increasing ever since our recent launch, and now we need your help to keep up with that demand.
So who here is an out-of-the-box thinker and wants to step inside this box and join us on our journey?
We cut them in half. They're 20-foot duocons, and we infill the sides to make these beautiful spaces that we can put anywhere.
All right. Before we go any further, all right. So it was $300,000 for 5%. I thought I heard 10%. I thought I heard $305,000 for 10%. Anyway, I mean, I can see right off the bat, I can see, a common objection, especially probably from Barbara, like right off the bat. If my neighbor puts that in their backyard looking like that, I'm going to, call the association. We're going to call the cops. Yeah, I think the outside needs a little bit of work. I like the insides look nice. I love the idea. I mean, when the pandemic first started, that's how I ended up here. This is my garage, right? Like, this space looked terrible. If you go back in my video collection, especially in the live streams, like, you could see like the insulation was falling out of the walls because there was no not plaster, drywall. There was no drywall here. And, I reached out to my boy, Mike, and I was like, Mike, I gotta do something about this. And he started coming over every Wednesday for several Wednesdays. And we not only got it sheetrocked up, we ran extra outlets out here, got it temperature controlled, installed fans, installed bright lights, and got it set up so that I could have a working studio. And on top of that, look, I know it's a garage, but obviously I'm not parking my car in here. And I need a space that's separate from where the kids are. And you can see I have panels on the walls here. I don't normally show this during the video, but this is what it looks like from the out, all blown up like, right? So all these panels, we built the panels by hand. I had never really sheetrocked anything before. And we got it all set up. And to me, it was game changing because, like, I wasn't just in one of the bedrooms, or I used to have a studio downstairs, but there was no door on that. Once we had kids, it started getting loud. And I'm loud. I'm a loud dude. So for me, it just wasn't going to work out that, like, I could be inside the house and get, videos done or live streaming done or anything done really without being separate. So in this way, I'm able to be separate from the house. I love this. We thought about this. We looked at this. There was a couple of big sheds, pool houses and things that were for sale. But I was just like, for what it costs, like, for the amount of space I'm going to gain here, it just makes more sense to just do it here. And then I don't have to, like, when it's snowing or anything like that, trench out through the snow to get there. And 80 square feet is pretty small. That is, for me, that would be really tight. But I love the idea that they're upcycling old containers and stuff like that. I think they just need to get something that's, able to look a little bit nice, figure out how to make it a little nicer on the outside.
Listen, I don't understand the need for this product. Can you please tell me?
Oh, I can come up with 1,000 reasons for it, but the question is how much?
So let me talk about our business model first.
That's always a scary response to a simple question.
Well, so we lease them and we sell them.
Okay, for when you sell them.
They start at $20,500.
I agree with you now, Daniel.
What does the market think? How many of you sold?
Our revenue to this point is $950,000 this year.
Oh, good for you.
And how long have you been in business?
Since June 2020.
Are there zoning ordinances in place that would forbid you in certain towns for dropping them off in a backyard?
They can go anywhere. Technically, we're considered a tool shed. This is for a temporary use. This is for somebody who is spending his or her time working on the toilet to get away from their kids, which again is not going away.
That's Mark,
right?
Exactly. That's me. You know, love the face. Yeah, but at $20,000, like you could like I could get a shed and build it out for $20,000 myself. Obviously, if they're willing to just drop it in my backyard, like I order it and drop it off in my backyard, like that's a difference. Like, okay, there's a convenience factor, but man, like $20,000 could buy. I mean, I buy a lot. I bought the sheetrock. I think all in. I mean, there's a TV. You know, I bought a TV, the couch. I already had this desk. I mean, if I spent $3,000 or $4,000 total between the sheetrock and the fans and the lights and everything, I'd be surprised. I'd be really kind of shocked. We didn't have the supply chain issues that we had back in the beginning of the pandemic either. But yeah, I can't. I don't know. That's how you could get such a bigger space for $20,000.
Exactly. That's not going away.
Okay, and how much money have you raised to date?
So we've raised $870,000.
And how much of the company did you give away?
30%.
And what are your margins on this?
When we sell it, it's about 40%. Each box costs us $12,000 to build. Most people are leasing them for between $800 and $1,000 a month.
Do many of the people who lease from you do it short term and convert to a customer who buys?
The average lease term right now is about 8 months, and about 60% of our clients have renewed their lease, gotten an additional box, or requested to purchase the box that they have.
To me, it seems like a clever idea, fit with COVID perfectly. But I don't think that this is the right investment. It's just not something that I would be excited about. So I'm sorry, I'm out.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it did. It fit the need at the time, and you know, at $800. I mean, $800 a month is still for 80 square foot is. With no, and that's just renting it with no like end in sight to own it. Because I mean, at that point, like in 20 months, I could own the thing, right? And then there's still the whole, does it really look good in the backyard? Like, I don't know that my wife, I don't know if Melissa would have let me put one of those in the back. I know she was on the hunt looking for like, okay, well, if we buy a shed and we could get it for like $2,000, how much would it cost for us to like get the insulation and all? And I think that well, no, we insulated up here the roof prior, but yeah, I don't know, I can't get there. Robbie, Allison, I love the idea. I love the fact that you were able to, you know, done $950,000. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to poo-poo it. I think that there's definitely a market for it. And look, if I didn't have, this is my second garage. I have another garage. So, for me, like sacrificing one of the garage, actually 1.5 garages. So sacrificing a garage wasn't as big of a deal. So like if I only had one garage and it wasn't like a 1.5, because we always talked about building an office in that half a garage, but we use that for a lot of storage now. You know, I would have looked at a shed. That's pretty much where I would have been.
You know what I don't get? You raised $870,000. Why are you trying to raise $300,000? Why do you need that money?
Right now, our capacity is about 5 boxes a month that we're doing. We need more space.
We see the potential to grow exponentially, and that's what we need this money for.
But that's a challenge, guys, right? You're constrained by your capital and your time and the availability of the boxes. What I look to invest in are hockey stick businesses where they kind of feed on themselves and grow themselves, and they're not necessarily fully capital constrained and time constrained. It's not the right kind of business for me to invest in, so for those reasons, I'm out.
I feel like a significant portion of the momentum that you have is connected to COVID. It's not clear to me that it's not connected to COVID, and the valuation seems to not factor that in. So I wish you the best, but for those reasons, I'm out.
So to go and say that I don't disagree with Daniel, but I think there's something here. If the price was closer to $8,000 to $10,000, and now I know they said their cost on it was like 12, so I'm not sure where they're getting hung up with the cost. What's the biggest bulk of the cost, but I feel like if you could get that cost down and you to a place where you could sell it for, for low end 8,000, high end 15,000, and again, making the outside not look like half of a shipping container, I feel like you really got something. Because I think, to me, if I didn't have this, if the pandemic didn't happen, I wouldn't have built this space. I would be interested in something like that. I've looked into things like that for years. Once I got kicked out of my old office back in like 2016, 2017, and got pushed to the upstairs because my office became a playroom. So I definitely see it. I just think that the price is tough. I think the price is tough.
I mean, I get it. Sales say everything. The trouble with this business, due to its capital requirements, the capital goes in, the more successful you are, it's impossible to get it back out. I hate doing deals where I kiss my money goodbye and then I never see it again. I like it when there's a way for me to get it back. And I'm not greedy, and I'm very creative, and I am Mr. Wonderful. So here's what I'm thinking.
Oh.
I give you the $300,000. I take the 5% just so I'm a partner in the business. But this is a royalty deal for sure. And so the way it works is every silence, Barbara, because you don't have any creativity on the
I'm sure you're right, yeah.
Okay, so I give you the $300,000. Every time you sell a box, you give me back $1,000.
And what happens if they lease it?
Yeah.
Right. Because
it's an amortized payback on the lease. I'm getting a portion of the lease. It's a way for me to get my capital back, but I want to make back $600,000 before the royalty goes to zero. And I think what's going to happen is half your people will buy themselves out at some point.
Well, royalty is kind of hard to understand on this type of product, at least for me.
I'm going to tell you why I think your model is so ingenious. It's identical to a business I invested in, Boho Vans. They were renting camper vans, retrofitted camper vans that look cool. I think they had maybe $250,000 in revenue, and 1 year later they had $5 million. It blew up. You're doing the identical thing. I like to make you an offer of $300,000 for 20%. Let me defend the 20%.
Oh, 20%.
You could say that, all right?
That's
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you.
Versus 5%, that's a really big difference.
Difference is one's understandable, one's less.
Well, I can explain mine very simply. You got to give me back my capital times 2. That's easy. I think it's a great offer.
What are you going to do?
Well, I am floored that Barbara decided to make an offer, because I mean I'm just shocked that she could see past the exterior. But the difference between the camper van and this, to me, is a camper van. I could take the van anywhere. It's not stuck in my backyard. I think that's a pretty big key component. And having that work from home space is great, especially if you don't have an extra space in the house. Even if you do have that extra space, it's nice to have a space that's separate from where you live, so you're not on top of where you work all the time. I mean, even having just like 2 doors between me and the rest of the house is nice, because it creates a bit of a barrier for me to like go out there and just, where my office used to be like right in the middle of the house, in what was originally the dining room, back when people had dining rooms, and that room enabled me to just walk in and out. Since there was no doors, it's like, oh, I'll just go in there and do things. And I found myself spending more time in there than I would, say, the rest of the house. And I don't necessarily do that here because it's disconnected from the rest of the house. So I'm surprised she took she's doing it. Now, is that a good idea? I wish they were getting more than 300,000 so you could buy back some of that stock that they sold for 870,000 on the 30%, and then they wouldn't have half of their business gone in a heartbeat. It's tough.
20% might sound rich to you, but you will never get someone with my skill set to explode your business like I will do. I don't sell product. I build businesses. That's what I'm good at. I did it for myself.
I love words too, but 20% is 20%.
20% is 20%.
I'll tell you what I'll do, just to have fun. Just to have fun and to make Barbara's night more interesting. Forget the whole royalty thing. I'll do it for 15%. I'll give you $300,000 for 15% right now.
Wow.
Barbara,
yes,
would you do $300,000 for 7%?
No. How much?
7%.
I thought I heard 17%. I was insulted.
Kevin?
I'm more insulted by a 7.
Well,
No.
what about if we did 7 plus some loan aspect?
No, but I'll do it for 10 if you say yes right now.
Jay, yes.
It's not,
I
a fair,
mean
it's
right
not
now.
a fair question. It's not a fair question to make us commit to that without talking. So we would like to.
Of course it is. The biggest mistake entrepreneurs make standing on that carpet is having a line in the sand at a certain valuation. That is the biggest mistake they always make.
I'm just saying that we should discuss before answering without discussing.
But may I say something to you?
That's a lawyer talking, not an entrepreneur.
It's a cautious and
two
it's what
hats.
you're
Okay,
training
just to
husband
have
for.
fun.
No, not to have fun. Do you not want to work hard? Like she understood. Like if she can get past the exterior looks, then she's. And she, to come in and say, okay, I will do it for 10% if you do it right now. The answer is yes. I get that it cuts your valuation down, but your other offer was for 20%, or to have to pay back 600,000 when you're already in a capital intense business as it is.
I'll do it for 9%.
Oh, what a
I'm
bastard!
just having fun.
You can let
we're
him.
both Canadian, so there's a little
I'm
bit of
having
kinship
fun with
there.
it because I actually think there's value here, and I love to squeeze Barbara's head once in a while.
You know what? There's something about that 10% number that makes you feel like something's worthwhile. That all your effort and all your energy and all your intelligence is put into something, and it's acknowledged as worthwhile.
I'll do it for 9, no problem.
It's up to you.
Barbara, we accept your offer.
Wow!
Great.
Kevin, would you like to
Congratulations.
I'm just happy to have saved you basically 10%.
Yeah,
We
thank
appreciate
you. We
it.
very much appreciate
No
your
problem.
support.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Send him a check.
So
Congrats, Robbie and
I
Allison.
mean,
very
hot
excited to work
box.
with
You managed it so well, you know?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Going into this, we were hoping to get a deal with Barbara. This is really a dream come true for us.
And what's even better, Kevin did all the negotiation for us, and that was amazing.
Thank you, Kevin.
You can thank
Congrats,
me, Barbara.
Barbara. Well done.
You weren't out to help me. Who are you kidding? You weren't out to help me.
That is awesome. I would love to have you, Robbie, and Allison here on the show to discuss your Shark Tank experience. Let's jump over to their website. Just drop a comment down below and we'll get it hooked up. But check out their website and social media here. So looks like they got the show in their spaces. I'm kind of surprised they weren't able to deliver a box to the show for them to like walk into and see. It was a bit surprising. So now it starts at $1,000 a month instead of $800. What does that say? Wow. Okay. You can brand your box. That's pretty cool. It looks like some of these the walls that they're cutting and building on them seem like they look pretty cool. But it's the size that look like the box is not my thing. But yeah, there you go. Job site trailers get an OOT Box, so they're trying to jump into that space as well. It works, but it's got to be somewhat of a permanent type of thing for it to work, because you can't just drive it around. It's not like a trailer or something to that effect. So on Facebook, 507 follows.
Could you say that again?
Oh, thanks, Siri. Jump over to Instagram here. We got 635 followers. and they got some engagement going on. But anyway, I would love to have you both on. Again, just drop a comment down below. Like Pamela Smith here says, this video and all the video clips we've watched have helped our entrepreneurship, We Mean Business class a lot. Very well done. Thank you so much, Pamela. I'm so glad to hear that. I'd love to learn more about your entrepreneurship, We Mean Business class. And so shoot me an email over at superjoepardo.com/contact, and we'll talk about that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you in one of these two videos right here. Take care and go be super.